Hey everyone, it's a Monday, but shh, I'm trying to forget that. Oh, hi there, I didn't see you. Glad you could join us. I wasn't going to say anything today, I was just going to go about my day, mind my business. But as many of you might have seen, I've started doing some singing recently. It's probably been a month and a half since I started. There's a lot of benefits to singing. You can look it up. About 11 years ago, we were living in Brooklyn in an apartment, and some people moved in above us. We'd moved in. A few months later, we had some new neighbors move in. Within a week, they had set the boxes on fire that they had put on their stovetop by turning on the gas. I'm not even going to go into that, but it was very sad. Thank God nobody got hurt. My wife was pregnant at the time with our daughter, who just turned 11 on Shabbos, and she had my 12-year-old, who was a baby. Fortunately, my 14-year-old was at a preschool.
He was 2 at the time.
So she only had to carry one baby down the flights of stairs. We were on the 3rd floor. The building was a fireproof building, but it wasn't waterproof. So when the firemen put out the fire with water, it went down through the walls and went into our closet, which was about 3 feet from where I slept. It made black mold form, which made all of us horribly ill. I was probably the sickest of all of us because of how close to the closet I was. And it had slats in the door which allowed mold spores to travel up every night and hit me right in the face. So when I would wake up in the morning, I was barely waking up. I was so miserable. I missed tons of work. Black mold can kill you, lo aleinu. And I didn't know what it was. When I would get to work, after a while I would be fine. I'd be able to work the whole day. I would feel relatively okay. But then it would happen again the next night. And we never found what it was until it was way too late. The damage had been done. To make a really long story a little less long, I have scar tissue nodules in my lungs. I went for an x-ray a few years ago finally. I had no treatment until then other than self-medication. I took guaifenesin like it was Tic Tacs, and that helped keep my lungs from filling up with mucus. There hasn't been any treatment for what I have. I did have a CAT scan. After that, the CAT scan recommended a PET CAT scan, which was using nuclear science to determine whether the nodules were benign or not, chas v'sholom. So I have a lot of small ones, a couple of not so small ones. Again, there's no treatment that I know of. So I've tried to do my own. I started exercising a lot more recently. I started singing, and I'm hoping that the singing will maybe break up the calcification on these scar tissue nodules and help remove them slowly from my body. I use the term chas v'sholom. It's a very powerful term that we've passed down for a long time. Something we're saying is bad, potentially bad. We add that at the end as a way of crying out from a very deep place, begging God that that thing not happen. What inspired this entire conversation today? I posted a video of me singing last night, as I have been doing. In about an hour, it had over 100 views. I asked my wife if she has seen it. I like her to view what I do most of the time. In this case, she was very offended by it. She said, "You need to pay attention to the words." It's true, words are very important. Words are extremely important. What we say can have an impact on the world, which is why we add chas v'sholom after saying anything bad. There are other equivalents, but they're not really equal to it. It's perhaps the most powerful thing you can say to ward off whatever it was you said coming true. So the song was somewhat romantic. I had posted many songs that were romantic, but something about this one really set her off. I did some work on it. It's not perfect. She actually liked the singing in it better than she liked the remake done by 5 professional singers. But she said the words were inappropriate. She didn't like them. She even tried to extort me a little bit to get me to take it down. I'd like to talk for a minute about levels of appropriateness. Since we use that word, we're always on some level of appropriateness and inappropriateness at the same time. Appropriateness can have very broad philosophical scope. It could be said that there's always someone who's on a more appropriate level than we are, and on a less appropriate level than we are. And I would suggest that you could take an average, a scale, to weigh each person and their levels of appropriateness, and that someone who is overall more appropriate in their actions than someone else might still have some things which are less appropriate in some ways than the person who's overall below them. So it's a really interesting topic. I don't think so many of us are ever doing everything completely appropriately at the same time. That might even be impossible. There is the teaching about the Lamed Vav Tzadikim, the 36 perfectly righteous who sustain the world. And it must be truly amazing to see their lives and see how it is that they maintain their level of appropriateness. They should be an example for all of us, but they would also put us all to shame, which is one of the reasons why we don't know who they are. So that's it for today. I hope you got something out of this. The power of words. And I appreciate you watching. Feel free to like and share. Maybe I can make some money off my videos. That's the main goal, right? I just nodded good morning to a friend of mine. Watch your words today. Don't go around saying a bunch of negative things. They can impact your world. They can impact everyone. Try to say only positive things. If you do say something that is genuinely bad, something that you really would not want to happen, you can try adding Chas v'Sholom to the end of that. Hopefully your prayer will be heard. Even if you're not religious, even if you don't know what it means, it still works. Because words are powerful. Thanks, we'll talk to you next time. Have a great day and a great beginning of your week.